Hi again, Panther fans, and welcome to this week's Georgia State Sports Update. Coming up on this week's Georgia State Sports Update, we're talking court volleyball with head coach Sally Paul-Hamas, and a little later football with head coach Trent Miles. Coming up on the court volleyball scene in the sports arena this weekend, the GSU Invitational. And right now, our reporter Caitlin Whitey brings us mic'd up with head coach Sally Paul-Hamas as the Panthers get ready for court volleyball this weekend.
We're here today at Georgia Tech for the Georgia Volleyball Classic. Today we have a special segment for you guys. We actually have Coach Paul-Hamas mic'd up and on the court, bringing you into the action.
Let's make sure that we play wholehearted, that we are composed and play hard for each other. Every point, own the court right away. Serve and pass, win the serve and pass game, and have fun out there. Go Panthers! You got that. Protect that sideline, Sarah. Nice. Hey, let's better that. You got that, KK. You passed the one. Out. Good. That's it. That's it. Nice. Double. That's it, really nice job. Good, so Anna, she's coming in, so when you have time, throw it to two. Yes, when it's early, when you're early. Go, come on. Shot! Out! Nice set! Great set, Sarah! Great set. In our game, our first ball contact, we're hitting negative. We need to do a better job of inside out creating seams for us. We're going straight in at the ball, and that block knows exactly where we're going. Hey, we came out aggressive and we fought that whole time. There are just little things here and there, and that's what's separating us from a team that makes very little errors, all right? And so, you guys, we have to have that mentality. Georgia is ready to be beat, and we've got to press them, all right? Everyone has to be ready to go in at any time. You've got to be eye sequencing ready to go, because guess what they're going to do? As soon as you come in the game, they're going to pick on you. So you've got to bring your A game as soon as you come in. Remember what we talked about earlier, being smarter than the game.
Thanks, Caitlin. We're back in studio right now as we continue on the Georgia State Sports Update. Pleased to be joined in studio by Sally Paul-Hamas, the court volleyball coach here at Georgia State. A little bit different when you're out there and you've got the microphone on. You kind of got to be careful with what comes out, right?
Not at all. Not at all. I didn't even realize I had it on. It was, just trying to get our team to execute, and we played a great weekend. We didn't get the result we wanted, but felt like we're growing as a team, a young team.
You mentioned a young team right now. As of this taping, the Panthers are 3-6. Let's recap real quick. You started out up in James Madison in lovely Virginia there, Harrisonburg, Virginia, the JMU Invitational. You got wins over Holy Cross and North Carolina Central, and the Panthers lost to the host Dukes of JMU. Let's recap that opening season match.
It was great. We came out and we won 3-0 against Holy Cross, and that was a really nice win. We came back in the third set to finalize those last 2 points, which is something that we did struggle with last year. And then we played JMU, which is a very tough team, a top 150 team, and they have a really nice player who's an All-American on their team. We did a nice job of containing her, didn't control her, but contained her, and that was really good for our defense. We didn't get the win, we lost in 4, but we had chances. We had set point and wasn't able to convert that, but we're right there. And then to finalize the tournament, going into North Carolina Central, coming out and really controlling that match and winning in 3. So it was a great first weekend.
Been to James Madison a few times with basketball back in the old Colonial Athletic Association days. I would assume the same with basketball and football, so on and so forth. When you're playing the host team, as you were playing James Madison at the arena there in Harrisonburg, it's a tough place to play.
It is. They have a great home court advantage. It was their first home competition, so we always love to play in that atmosphere. We'd rather have the crowds full and excited and have that really good environment.
So then you move on to the Bruiser Showcase. That's an interesting name for a court volleyball tournament. And you get to go to lovely Nashville, Tennessee, and you pick up a win over William and Mary, and then end up losing to Mercer and Belmont. Recap that one.
So William and Mary was another great win for us. A team very similar, young. We did a nice job of coming out and getting a points or a lead early, and then we were able to maintain it. So that was a great 3-0 win for us. Mercer came out. They had played a back-to-back match, and they most of their indoor players play beach also, which is one of the first teams we've seen where they have both the indoor and beach players do both. They did a really nice job of shots, ball handling. We just weren't able to keep up with their speed. And then Belmont, who is an NCAA team for the last couple years, has just did a really nice job serving. And so the weekend was really good for us to see where we needed to improve. We still grew. Defensively, we stopped Belmont's #1 attacker, and so we're starting to put the pieces in place. It's just getting that go-to player, and so we're really pushing our players to be that finish.
All right, so coming out of Nashville, court volleyball comes back to Atlanta and participates in the Georgia Challenge with Georgia, Georgia Tech, and Kennesaw State, and that didn't go the way we would have liked.
We definitely wanted to get some wins that weekend, and we were very close. We were up on Georgia 2018, and we've kind of seen that over the last year, and with a young team, really having them finish. And all 3 weekends, we've had different players step up, which has been really crucial. At the JMU Invitational, they had Celeste Friesen and Anna Rantala, a freshman and sophomore all-tournament. And then in Belmont, we had Crystal Lee, a sophomore outside all-tournament. And so we're getting those younger players that experience, and now they need to become those go-to players.
And you've been coaching long enough. You can identify a player probably early on and say, okay, that one has potential. You can see them moving into a leadership role. There are some that are capable and willing to do that, and others that may not embrace taking on a leadership role. And you mentioned a couple of names, but you've identified, it sounds like, a couple of girls who are embracing that role.
Yes, going from a role player to a go-to player is very different mentally.
Yeah.
Because everyone knows who you are, so they're not letting you breathe. They're serving you, they're blocking you, they're everything on you. And so that mentality really has to be aggressive, no matter if they make a mistake, to be able to bounce back quickly. We talk a lot about being like a rubber ball, that by the time it hits the floor, you forgot about your mistake and you've moved on. And so that quick response and ready to bounce higher that next rep. And so that's what we're really working with these young players for.
Again, we're talking to court volleyball coach here at Georgia State, Sally Paul Hamas, here on the Georgia State Sports Update. Again, September 16th and 17th, the GSU Invitational. South Carolina State and East Carolina will be at the Georgia State Sports Arena. We're just talking about leadership. You also have Eliza Zachary and Caitlin Rawls and Christina Stinson back. How do you balance? Because you can't have 5 leaders on the floor at once. So how do you balance out at any one time who kind of takes the lead and who kind of falls in behind?
Well, first I have to say that our leaders have done a great job. Christina, Eliza, our captains have really stepped in. Eliza's a fifth-year senior. She blew out her ACL last year and has come back better than last year. And so she has really taken on that leadership role. And Christina is a sixth rotation player that we ask a lot of her. And so she has been a role player for us, another one that we're really cultivating her to become a go-to player also. And with Kate Rawls joining our team from beach, this is our first beach transition player to indoor. She has made the adjustments very well. You know, for us, being a fall sport, you come in with 2-a-days and then you're traveling the first 3 weeks of class. And that's grueling on someone that's used to having a spring sport. Yeah. And so she's making the adjustments nicely. She's been at the JMU tournament. She was a huge spark for us. And so her play is definitely elevating our team, and that consistency is what we're looking for. But these 3 seniors have done a fantastic job. To only have 3 seniors and the rest freshmen and sophomores, there's a big gap in the maturity just as a student and an athlete combined. So they're doing a really nice job of raising the team to their level.
Well, speaking of beach volleyball, and we've had Beth Van Fleet on the show a few times, as well as Coach Paul Hamas. When you take a player from, let's say, beach volleyball and bring them into, you know, in beach it's only 2 on the sand at a time. Now you're bringing them into much more of a team aspect. How's that adjustment go, and how has it gone so far for the one that's made the adjustment for us?
Well, Kate has done a fantastic job. We were just so excited the first couple practices that she didn't try to take the second ball all the time. And so mentally, that's just even a big adjustment. For her, we talk a lot about that. In a beach scenario, there's just 2 pieces. Well, in an indoor team, she's one of 13, right, and the cohesiveness has to be there. So learning her role and being consistent is very important. When you just have to worry about one other person, you can, do one thing and they know. They trust you. But if you do one thing one time and then another thing the next time, but you're playing around 12 different players, they don't know what your consistency is. And so Kate has done a really nice job of becoming very disciplined in the indoor game. And she sees the game so well. So she's taught our players different shots, things that aren't power-based but more finesse-based, and that's really helped. And then all the teams, South Alabama, that we were kind of neck and neck with last year that went to 5. We had so many 5-set matches and just couldn't finish that. And so that's been a huge thing, that our conference is very even. And it's really the team that point scores faster and limits their unforced errors. And that's really something that we've been working on.
All right, well, good luck this weekend against South Carolina State and East Carolina, and then you'll be in Sun Belt play.
Yes.
Good luck.
It's good to be home.
All right. We want to thank Sally Paul Hamas. She's the head coach of the Georgia State court volleyball team here. And again, they've got the GSU Invitational coming up on this weekend, September 16th and 17th. We're going to turn our attention now to Georgia State football. Panthers just back from Colorado Springs, Colorado. Unfortunately fell to the Falcons of the Air Force Academy. We're going to talk to head coach Trent Miles coming up shortly. Right now, here are some highlights from Georgia State's trip out west against the Falcons of the Air Force Academy.
Up for grabs, caught out of bounds. Manning gets the snap. Falcons rush 4. Manning under duress, throws over the middle. It's a flanker up to the right side. Manning will throw, looks, lobs right corner, up. Line by Smith, gets to the 20, gets bounced back. Now comes to the near side and gets running room. 25, 30, 35, he gets to the 40. Down to midfield, outside the numbers, near sideline. He gets by a man to the left sideline. Down to the 10, and pushed to tight end set. They give it to Dorn, tries the left side, sprints to the end zone, touchdown.
Back here in studio with Georgia State's head football coach Trent Miles, 48-14 the final score. Georgia State falls to the Air Force Academy out in Colorado Springs. And That was a tough one. Return game from their trip here in 2014. Knew what to expect. A team that's going to run the football, and then they're going to run it again, and then run it a little bit more. It's exactly what they did. And towards the second half, we had a tough time slowing it down. After getting off, very, very early, Georgia State got off to a really good start.
Well, we had our chances. We had some big plays that we missed on. We had some guys wide open, and that's 14 points off the board, and then you have the ball first down in the red zone, and you don't get any points before the half. We gave up a big kickoff return that is uncharacteristic of our kickoff coverage team. So all of a sudden, instead of having a nail biter at halftime, you're still in the ball game. It's 27-14, and you go out and score, and you're a one-possession game, and they come out and they take the opening kickoff, and they go right down the field and score, and then they onside kick it and get it back, and for all intent and purposes, the game is over then. So, we've got to play much better. We've got to do the fundamental parts of it better, just the blocking and tackling and catching and throwing and kicking in all phases, and we've got to really work to just improve and keep our head down, not worry about the score, and just get better as a football team.
Well, Coach, one thing you have said is that as you look at the overall football team, it's not last year's team. Now, granted, there's a lot of guys who are returning who played and who started, but it's a very different team than what we saw last year, especially the way they played down the stretch last year.
Yes, and we're trying to find our leaders. Our leaders are trying to emerge, and it's been difficult for them, but we'll keep plugging away and keep working. That's all we know to do, and we'll get it corrected, and we'll be fine going in. Our last game and preseason games coming up, and then it's on to the ones that count in the conference. So our guys still figuring out exactly what their role is and what they're doing on their side. We've defined their role, but it takes a while to get comfortable in it sometimes, and we're establishing leadership, and we'll see how it goes from here on out.
Who are some of the guys that have stepped up that you've seen that have looked like they want to take that mantle or the role of a leader? Because it was Joe Peterson, it was Nick Arbuckle, Taurus Batiste. Who are some of the guys that you've seen after 2 games that have started to step up?
I'll throw out a famous Rick Pitino quote. Those guys aren't coming back in that door. Larry Bird's not walking in that door. Neither is Robert Perry. So Nick Arbuckle and Joe P., they're not coming back in. So we've got to step up. And some of the guys that are trying, the Robert Davises, Keith Rucker, Bobby Baker, or Andrew Everett, Shawanye Lawrence, they're trying. They've not really been in that role before. In some degree they have, but not as the senior leader. And so we're trying to get them going, and they're working at it.
Talking to Coach Miles here on the Georgia State Sports Update again. Just like the opener against Ball State with a pick 6, got off to a quick start in this football game as well. And we had the ball first because, as you said, you don't get many possessions against a team like Air Force, pretty much an option football team. And then we marched right down the field in 7 plays, 75 yards, and 22-yard touchdown pass. Panthers looked good right out of the gate this past Saturday.
Well, they challenged us to go deep, and that's what we like to do anyway. And we had some opportunities, and we were able to take the first possession down and execute pretty well and go down. And then after that, again, we had some opportunities that it's literally slipped through our hands, and that's a totally different game. And the most disappointing part of it was the big return. You go down and you march down and you score, put 7 points up right away, and then before their offense steps on the field, it's tied again. So those are the things that can't happen. A couple guys going the wrong way out of their lane and open up a big gap, and those are all correctable things. So we'll get it fixed, and we'll go out and we'll compete really hard at Wisconsin and see what happens.
A lot of talk, obviously, during the offseason and throughout the preseason practice about the battle at quarterback. You've been able to play both. Connor Manning, who started both games, but you've also been able to play Aaron Winchester. Let's start off with Connor. What have you seen from him in actual game action these first 2 games that you like?
He's throwing some good balls. He's managing the offense. There's a few deep balls that we wish we had back, but he's been pretty accurate, for the most part. And he will be the starting quarterback, and Aaron will be the second-team quarterback. Right now we're in the Wisconsin game, and we're planning on just playing Connor and seeing how that goes, and give him a chance to just be the man and get comfortable in that role. So now it's time to get guys comfortable in their role, and we'll see where he takes us.
As we did see in the opener and a little bit in the Air Force game, Aaron brings a little bit of a different dimension just with regards to being able to run the football. He's a little more mobile than obviously Connor is.
A lot more mobile,
Yeah.
but
I'll let you say.
and Aaron's going to be a great quarterback for us. It's just he needs a little time. He's still a freshman. And, best thing about freshmen, they come softer. So we just got to keep working with him, and he'll get his opportunities.
I know one of the concerns is the ability or lack thereof so far to be able to run the ball. And I know you wanted a few more running plays, maybe a lot more running plays on Saturday at Air Force. But eventually, the Panthers are going to have to be able to develop some sort of a running game.
We have to, for the sake of not just our toughness and our attitude and being competitors, but for the sake of our defense and the rest of the team. You can't keep putting your defense out there. Our defense has played over 170 plays in 2 games.
Yeah.
This last game, there were 83 rush attempts against them, 92 total plays. That's too much. Our offense only had 6 first downs. 3 of them came in the first drive of the game. And so, there's some things that they've got to fix and be able to stay on the field, run the clock, and do some things to take the pressure off of trying to throw it every single down and throw it over everybody's head all the time. So, it's a complementary game. We've got to learn to play that way, and it's a work in progress. And we've had a really good a week of work at it, and hopefully we'll get better on Saturday.
You've been around football a long time. I've watched a lot of games and called a lot of games. The time of possession numbers against Air Force are incredible. I can't remember seeing too many games where it's been that one-sided. 45 minutes and 14 seconds for Air Force. Georgia State had it for 14 minutes and 46 seconds. And in the fourth quarter alone, we only had it for 1:14.
Yes,
incredible.
Well, that's what happens when you play an option football team that runs the ball, and you don't get off the field. And when you do get on the field, you don't get first down. So, it's a recipe for disaster, and we found that out. I would have liked to have seen where the game would have went if we would have hit our shots early in the first half, and the ones that should have been, completed, and some of the plays that we had to put points on the board. If we would have gotten it done, where we would have been. So I think that would have been a whole different game.
Yeah, there was a couple of balls that 9 out of 10 times, 10 out of 10 times that they would make the catch. And Ari had a nice touchdown catch on Georgia State's first score, but he let one go, and Todd Boyd let one go. That if you had those back, the game changes a little bit.
Yeah, you don't get do-overs.
Yeah.
So, on to the next game, and they can't hang their heads. We know that they can catch those balls in their sleep. So they're going to have to continue to work and practice and make up for it on Saturday.
How about the special teams unit? We didn't punt the ball very well out at Air Force. You mentioned the 99-yard touchdown return right after our 22-yard touchdown strike and the recovered onside kick. Our special teams struggled a little bit on Saturday.
Yeah, the onside kick was just a great play by them.
Yeah.
They found a little gap and were able to kick it in. The guy that, in that position lined up a little too wide, and we'll fix that. So that'll get taken care of. The kickoff return for a touchdown is just 2 young guys going out of their lane, deciding that they wanted to go make a play rather than do their responsibility, and that's what happens, and you pay for it when you play a team like Air Force. And the most disappointing one has been the punting, very inconsistent. When we hit it well, but there's just too many. You can't. That's just like a sudden change turnover when you punt the ball for 20 yards and put your defense right back on the field, and you didn't gain anything from field position standpoint. So we'll get that all corrected again. Those are all young guys that are freshmen that are making mistakes, and we'll get them fixed and get them ready for conference play.
What's our injury situation heading into heading up to Wisconsin? Some big name guys here that may not be able to play on Saturday.
Well, we probably have about 110 bruised egos, But other than that, I know McKinley Cheritor's still out with a high ankle sprain. Penny Hart will be out with a hamstring. Shawane Lawrence will be out with a knee. Andrew Everett will be out with a knee. Lucas Johnson will be out with the shoulder. Cornell Hobson's out with a concussion. And I think that's probably about it.
Sounds like a regular mash unit you're running there.
Well, that's all of our defensive line. So our whole defensive line is out for the Wisconsin game, and they like to run the ball. So, we'll be tested and we'll see what our young guys do.
I was going to say the tough thing about losing guys like McKendy and Andrew. You still have Michael Shaw, but those are our rush guys right there. Those are the guys that are trying to get in there and wreak a little bit of havoc.
Yeah, I don't know if you'll have much of an opportunity to wreak havoc against Wisconsin, because I'm pretty sure that they're just going to hand the ball off and run right down our throat. So, we're going to have to be stout in the middle, and our linebackers and whoever's in going to have to step up and play. I mean, that's the way we look at it. It's another man's opportunity to step in and carry the flag and be very productive, and we don't expect any drop-off.
As you would figure with a Big Ten team like Wisconsin, getting started on my sheets, 6'6", 314, 6'3", 344, 6'6", 325, 6'6", 321, 6'6", 313. I mean, that's just, they're built to compete at that level. That's just a massive offensive line.
Yeah, they're built to run the ball well and come right downhill at you. And you'll see good old-fashioned ISO and power and zone play inside and stretch play outside. So, we'll have our work cut out for us. But, hey, we've got to go fight. And it doesn't matter who you play, where you play, when you play. You've got to go have the mentality that we're in for a fight. We're not worried about the score. We're just going to go in there and fight our tails off, and hopefully we come out on top.
As you said, before we get to questions for Coach Miles, as you said, you just want to see improvement. You want to see, in all phases of the game, Georgia State getting better and better week after week.
And that's our responsibility as coaches, is to make sure that they get better each week. And I can guarantee you we're working hard enough. We just got to find a way to get the results on Saturday.
All right, you ready to take some questions from
Sure.
the Panther fans? All right, time now for questions for head football coach Trent Miles.
Hi, Coach. I wanted to know what was your favorite ice cream, because strawberry is my favorite.
My favorite ice cream, if I was allowed to eat ice cream. I'm not allowed to eat ice cream. I'm pre-diabetic, so I have to be very careful. But if I could eat ice cream, it would be Pearlie's and cream.
Hi, Coach. My name is Lydia Irving. I'm majoring in graphic design. And my question is, do you have any rituals before a game?
My pregame ritual is basically to get a good workout in. I want to go to the game tired. So I run. Either if I'm on the road, if I can find a treadmill, I'll run on it, because it's better for me than the street. But if I have to, I'll go out and run outside. But I try to run myself to exhaustion so that I'm a little more calmed down on game day.
Hey, Coach. My name is Alexia Thompson. I'm a music tech major. And my question is, did any of your players make it into the NFL?
Yes, we have Albert Wilson as the starting wide receiver for the Kansas City Chiefs. Will Lutz is the starting kicker for the New Orleans Saints. And Ulrich John is on the practice squad with the Miami Dolphins. So currently we have three players that are playing on rosters in the NFL.
All right, Coach, good questions this week. And kudos to Will Lutz. He kicked a 42-yard field goal his first attempt in the NFL. So.
And he almost hit a game winner from 61.
Yeah.
He had plenty of distance, just a few inches off to the left. So we're looking forward to Will having a great career. And Albert needs this year and 3 games of next year to make sure he's invested in the retirement system in the NFL. And we wish Ulrich all the best in making the active roster.
All right, Coach, great having you in here, and we'll see you up in Wisconsin.
Thank you.
All right, I want to thank Georgia State's head football coach Trent Miles joining us in studio. Time now for On the Schedule. Here's what's coming up this week in Georgia State athletics. On Friday, September the 16th, Court Volleyball hosting the GSU Invitational. They're going to take on South Carolina State in the Sports Arena at 6 p.m. On Saturday, September the 7th, more court volleyball. The Pirates of East Carolina facing Georgia State in that GSU Invitational, and that starts at 4 p.m. Saturday, we'll be up in Madison, Wisconsin on September 17th. Coach Miles and the football team going to take on the Wisconsin Badgers, 11:30 airtime in the morning with our radio pregame show. Also Saturday, September the 17th, 7 p.m. men's soccer taking on Presbyterian College out at the GSU Soccer Complex. That'll do it for this week's show. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week right here on the Georgia State Sports Update.